Hi everyone. Spirituals Monday, getting back into it. Start of a week, and also today happens to be the day that Uranus moves into Gemini. So I'm going to talk about that and the cap full moon coming up. But first, I just want to take a little time. Let's just take a little moment and arrive. Let whatever came up today, whatever's on the to-do list, and there might be a lot. I mentioned Capricorn coming up. And let's take a moment together to let that go, to arrive, maybe feel the flesh animal of your body for a moment, maybe roll your neck around, maybe do a little soothing tapping or holding. And just give yourself a moment to thank yourself for carving out a little time here, something a little different than the rest of your perhaps scrolling or time. It's the start of a new week, new moment. Emma Choden says, start where you are. We'll start here. And I want to start with an affirmation card. So we'll get that off. We'll start here. And we'll also use this as a moment to attune to breath for a moment, as an opportunity. Go ahead and just do a little body scan, maybe starting from the top of your head, investigating, letting go, scanning through your shoulders, and we'll just see. Okay, everyone's a teacher. I love these little graphics. Everyone's a teacher. Everyone I cross paths with is a teacher in that moment. The ones who give me the fun lessons are ones I call friends. The ones who give me the hard lessons I sometimes call a-holes. They've chosen a tough job, but someone's got to do it. So today I'm thankful for all the a-holes. Thank you for playing a part in making me a better person. This is perfect for this week. This is perfect for our moment in time. We are here. We are here for a reason. We are getting the lessons of humanity, whether we want them or not, but here we are. For the reading this week, I want to focus on Modern Tarot by Michelle T. And look into the Devil card for Capricorn. But before I get into that, I do want to talk just briefly, because today, this is Monday, but we'll be feeling this. There's a big major transit this week. It's Uranus moving into Gemini. This planet does not move very often. It is quite far away. If you've been following me, you know we talked a lot about Pluto moving into Aquarius last year and kind of the generational reign. Uranus is a little bit slower, or a little bit shorter. It's about 8.5 decades. So unless you're 85 or older, this is the first time that Uranus has moved signs. And so it's big. So this planet represents communication, technology, and revolution. Now, I don't know if you've been following any of the things happening, but we are in a communication and technology revolution right now. So the last time, also, I think it's interesting that this sign was in Gemini, that Uranus was in Gemini. It was 1942 to 1949. So the last time that we saw the connection that we're moving into starting today with Uranus and Gemini, it was the end of World War II. It was kind of the beginning of the nuclear age. I hate that term, but like kind of understanding what that meant for technology and our, like, if you think of that in terms of communication, what that did to say, this is the end. I will end the conversation with this giant weapon. that's the end. That was something that was learned at the last time that Uranus was in Gemini. It's also around when the computer was started and television was the like mass media beyond newspapers. So I'm saying all of this because sometimes we see transits and we say, okay, there's been 85 years since this has happened. And if you're not 85 and older, it might be hard to track what that actually means. So I just want to put in context the last time that this happened, this transit, Uranus moving into Gemini, which is happening today. The last time it happened, 1942 to 1949. And so there's just some really interesting things and opportunities for change, for growth, for revolution, especially when it comes to the way that we communicate with each other and what technology means. So we're all kind of aware, I'm sure, in different ways of communication, of AI, of technology. And there's going to be a lot of shifts and changes around that. And this is kind of a start. And so one thing I'm mentioning this here in Queer Church, this is a moment for connection. This is a space for reset. This is a focus on spiritual growth, whatever that means for you. And I invite us to think about this transition that, what does it mean to use technology to stay connected, to think about our communication and what we need? I'd love to see the revolution of that be a return. I'm like, let's start writing letters again. Like, let's return. What does it mean? Let's think about what we're actually saying if we are using technology platforms. So all of that begins today. So I had to mention it. If you want to know more about Uranus moving into Gemini, hit me up. But for our purposes here, I want to just name that it's happened. I want to honor the revolution that might be beginning. And I want to invite us to have a moment to clear our throat chakras. This is a lot about communication. And so let's just take a moment and maybe you send a little energy and attention to your throat. Maybe you turn the dial, turn the light on there. Maybe you breathe out, and as you breathe out, you clear a little space in your throat for a restart, for something fresh. Maybe if you're holding in your throat or in your body technology, worries about technology, fears that you can't control, let's just let that go and create a little space for you that in the soft animal of your body, which I'm getting from Mary Oliver, that this is a protected space. You, as a human in flesh, and your throat is clear. Let me just send a little bit of protection as we engage in this major transformation that we shall see what happens. And I guess the last thing I'll say is, so Gemini is the twin, right? It's moving, this planet of communication, technology, and innovation revolution is moving into Gemini, which is the twin, which is new perspectives, seeing things differently. And I don't think that always means forward progression. This is revolution, right? We are in a time when we can rethink how we're using technology and communication. So may we individually and as a species do so. Next 80 years. Oh, thank you for that. I'll transition now to focus on Capricorn. I sent some things out, a tarot spread and some offerings and some reflection questions for working with the full moon this week. It arrives on Thursday, July 10th at 1:37 p.m. in the afternoon PT. So it's a midday full moon. I kind of am interested when that happens because we have the Gregorian calendar and typical work days perhaps layered over what the astrological calendar is, which says the afternoon on Thursday is, the time to engage, although it is Capricorn. So maybe that does work in this case. So Capricorn is earth sign, grounded. Capricorn is let's go, let's make the plan. It's often called the steamroller. It's like, I see where I'm going to get there. And what's kind of fun about this full moon, the light is on, the energy is high, the potency is there. Capricorn is let's get things done. This is the first major connection with Capricorn in 2025. So we're kind of thinking back. It's also the midpoint of the year. So it's a great check-in. It's a great time to think, all right, whatever the intentions I set for 2025, what were the goals I had for myself? What did I want to focus on this year? And Capricorn can take stock of that and actually make a plan to say, okay, I need to revisit that and shift my focus, or I need to let that go. That actually isn't useful to me, and I'm going to create a new plan now. Right? This is a great time to take stock. This is a moment when we have in 2025 so that later we don't say, where did the year go? I can't believe it's 2026, even though I always say that, and that's okay. Time is not real. This is kind of one of those moments to ground, to take stock. And because of that, I want to offer this Michelle T. So Capricorn is represented by the Devil card. And so the reading today, I'm going to read a little bit of this as also an offering and an inspiration. Again, I have some reflection questions and offerings for you and more on my Patreon if you're interested in supporting this work. But I want to offer this for you to kind of think and work with this week, especially as we lead up to Thursday and on Thursday, how to work with Capricorn and what the investigation might be. Whatever of this, again, the reading is a time for you to just let yourself be read to, let whatever lands, spark, and what else doesn't, just let it go. Michelle T, Modern Tarot, the Devil. When the Devil arrives in your sphere, it's time to get serious. The broadest explanation of what the Devil card is signaling is that you are under the spell of a lie and its consequences will be real. The hardest part of the Devil is how likely it is that you have no idea that you're believing so fervently and spending so much of your energy on something that is actually a falsehood. When the Devil card comes, it is asking you to do the heavy-duty soul searching required for the difficult work of cracking the belief system or denial that is protecting the problem. So when I talked about the full moon and Capricorn and how to work with it, these are some of the questions you might be asking yourself. What am I indulging so deeply in? What am I perhaps addicted to in a way that I hadn't been able to see it in that way? And that doesn't have to be substances. That can be relationships. That can be patterns. That can be thought patterns. What am I returning to over and over again? Right? That is not serving me, because the full moon in Capricorn will get to the bottom, and Capricorn represented by the Devil card will kind of get to, well, what's at the depths? If you have drawn the Devil, and here, because the full moon in Capricorn, we're all drawing the Devil, it's time to get clear about what your master, what is ruling you right now. This could be a lighter issue. Maybe you're spending too much time on your phone and its grip has been nagging you. Maybe the way you're also engaging, I'll say, is part of that. Maybe a plan is needed to bring that back into balance. I'm paraphrasing here. On the other hand, the Devil in your life factor might be grisly, might be very important. Again, this is 2025 mid-year check-in. Maybe something as an intention you set for yourself in the Capricorn season of January, the start of 2025, was very important for this year, was very important for your life goals, for your health, for your wellness, mental, emotional, spiritual. And this is a time to realize that it's time to get that back on track, right? That 7 months have passed, and now let's revisit. What? Are you on a roller coaster of soaring highs and crushing lows? What is taking you on these trips? Maybe it's chemicals you're taking in. Maybe it's the chemicals that are naturally present in your body. Is low self-esteem, self-hate, or philosophies that see humanity as cold and hopeless, all punishment-based release systems, any spiritual tradition that does not prize individual autonomy and unconditional love. All of those things can be represented by the devil here. All of those things can be drawing you in. And I will say, highlighting from this, that includes doom scrolling and having no faith in humanity at all, which I understand. Understandable, especially now. And also, this Capricorn full moon is a chance to examine that. What are you holding? What is dragging you down? What thoughts, patterns are you addicted to, indulging in, that are not serving the goals you set for yourself in 2025? Whatever scenario the devil is pointing to in your own life, try to be willing to look at it honestly. There is no doubt that a lot of denial and justification and a lot of fear have chained you to his throne. But in life, everything is possible, including liberating yourself from whatever has you in its stifling and unhealthy grip. That is the offering for this week. That is the offering for working with the Capricorn full moon on Thursday. I will close this, as always, with a tarot pull for time. But this is a time of reset. This is a time of revolution. And it's leading up, the cosmos, however you think of it. There is this moment we're moving towards to buckle down, to get things done. So, here we are. It's the week. I'm really glad to be connected to you. We're here. We've chosen this. Let's clear again one more time our throats. Inviting in the opportunity to say what needs to be said, perhaps about our vices, perhaps about our patterns, perhaps about the plans that need to be made this week, the changes we might be moving towards, scary as it might be. And we'll send the sparks. We'll send the invitation up. What do we need to hear with all of this in mind to make the most of this week? So here we have the Seven of Swords. I said this is Uranus moving into Gemini, the head season there. There's a lot. Swords is in the mental realm. This is sort of a card of maybe you're trying to get away with something. You're doing a mental trick, and sure, you can get like some of the swords, but you're going to be looking behind your shoulder. There's something else there, and it's gonna come back. So this kind of feeds into or supports the investigation that can be done. It's an invitation to take this time to do the mental work this week, especially on Thursday or leading up, to investigate what has got you in its grips. What is the devil pulling you? And I came from a Catholic background, so I don't say that lightly, and I also am saying it a little bit lighter than that. But like, what is pulling you? In what ways do you feel like this is what I'm stuck with? This is where I'm stuck, and so forget it. Might as well just scroll on my phone at night. Might as well just gossip about that person. Might as well just like stay in this relationship even though I'm unhappy. Whatever it is. I don't know what your vices are. Whatever is kind of pulling you and saying, well, I'm just gonna keep doing it and I can get away with it. This is the card of you can't get away with it. And you don't want to. Maybe you don't want to. Maybe this is an invitation, and the full moon and all of its energy, and Capricorn with all of its organization. This can be the moment to say, actually, that's not how my 2025 is going to go. That's not how my 2026 is going to go. I'm going to do something differently, and the cosmos this week have got your back. Thanks for being here, and I'll see y'all next week.